Okay, now that you talked about the NCC, I'd like us to delve a little bit into what one of the things that were done by the Commission. The number portability thing, how, well, how successful was it? Because I remember we all asked the port, you can port from one network to another network without having to change your number. But how successful was that scheme?
Well, to my mind, it's a success because, yes, April 2013, it was introduced by the NCC. We're actually the 64th nation to introduce, number 64 to introduce mobile number portability. But you see, it actually has brought a lot of shivers down the operators. The subscriber now has a choice. Anytime I like this number, and it is so much, you know, it means so much, you know, for my business, I can take that same number and port. Again, porting, sometimes when, for instance, insurgents are there, one particular operator's masts go off. And I find out that, I mean, for the next 3-4 months or so, maybe 6 months, before that, you know, mast goes up again, I can't communicate. If I see anyone standing, I can really go to the operator, I mean, and port to that operator.
So where the subscribers are allowed to move as they want it.
Definitely. Although it's a 3-month lock-in period, so they say, but we are trying to, you know, appeal to the NCC, to the regulator, to reduce that to, you know, maybe maximum 1 or 2 weeks, so that if there is any need for me to port, I don't want to be porting here and there. If there's any need for me to port, I just can do that all within 2 weeks. The lock-in period should be reduced.
I know that telecom operators are actually deploying infrastructure, by trying to extend their operations. And I'd like us to talk about the safety of these infrastructures, especially in troubled regions in the Northeast, for instance, and other areas that have been faced with insurgents activities in the country. How do you these infrastructures, with their efforts to protect them?
I must say yes, but it's just that it is inadequate. I remember Inspector General of Police Abubakar at a time when the insurgents were really, you know, noticing that sometimes some of these masts could, you know, reveal a number of things about their operations. The first thing they do is to attack the infrastructure, you know, the masts. And the IGP then, I think, gave directive to deploy some, you know, some people to, I mean, some of their officers and men to ensure that they give cover to, or they ensure that they secure some of these mast sites or base stations. But how far that is, I don't know. I've not followed that up, but I know the IGP, Abubakar, former Inspector General of Police, you know, gave the directive then. But sincerely, they are critical national infrastructure, although the legislation towards that is coming. That's another thing that the legislators should be doing.
In 2015.
In 2015. I mean, a number of things that they've not been doing. You know, rather, you know, they're doing something else, something that would benefit their various constituents and constituencies. I mean, the PIB bill, sorry, the critical infrastructure, national infrastructure bill, that should have, you know, been passed. I don't know why they're still there. You know, these are the issues we will have to face in 2015.
Okay. In your view, how would you assess what the Minister of Communications Technology did, or is still doing? We have just a few days to the end of the year. And we'll also look at what the NCC did in 2014.
Thank you very much. The Ministry of Communication Technology, which is one of the ministries just created, I mean, it's a new ministry, which is something pretty good, the current administration. I must say that they've been doing a lot. For the very first time, the ministry actually, as soon as she was appointed, brought all the stakeholders in the industry to come and discuss. Thereafter, the discussion, she now came up, she called everybody again to come up with a national telecoms policy, which has never happened before. And then there you are, she has been harping on broadband penetration. The likes of Engineer Ernest Ndokwe chairs this, the erstwhile
executive vice chairman of the NCC.
Is the chairman of the broadband committee, and they are doing a lot. But they need to cover so much. Unfortunately, the Minister of Communication and Technology is so starved with funds, and she doesn't have much money to operate, and she wants to do 20 things, and she's got money for one. Each time, for instance, she wants to do one or two things, there is no money. Unfortunately, the agencies under her are even richer, NCC, NITCOMSAT, and all that. They're even richer than the ministry. It's unfortunate. The president should please give more money to the industry so that a lot can be achieved when it comes to the real development of the broadband penetration in Nigeria.
Mm.
The Nigerian Communications Commission, yes, they are also doing, like I did say earlier, they have read the Riot Act, introduced the corporate governance for the telecoms industry on the third quarter. And beyond that is the fact that they're always, keeping tab on the operators to ensure that a number of things, really fall in line and fall in place. The only area of disagreement is compensating the subscribers. And I told you earlier that that is being taken care of in the courts.
Now, I'd like us to talk about the issue of competition among the operators in the country. How would you describe that aspect?
I would see it as a very healthy competition. Pretty healthy in the sense that, for instance, when it is happening, for the first time, even when your phone is switched off, by the time you switch it on again, and many people must have tried and called you, it will give you, even when your phone has been switched off, when you switch it on again, it gives you a record of the people that have called you when the phone was switched off. That was something that was used by a fresher. So again, Airtel crashed the tariff rates to 20 kobo per second. They just brought it down, and there you are. It has been a benchmark. Some now lower. Although there are conditionalities before you actually enjoy either 15 kobo per second or 12 kobo per second. But at least the benchmark, one of the operators, Airtel, at least, brought the benchmark now to 220 naira. 20 kobo per second. Again, by the time you look at product offerings, again, another operator, MTN, gives you variety of products, and all that. Also, Glow. So it's very, it's very keen, and they're competing pretty well. It's just that their service quality has to be improved. It's a good development, and I like it. And when Nitel comes on, again, the scenario will change again. You'll see.
I'd like us to talk about the employment opportunities in the telecom sector. There were reports in the course of the year that there was some kind of downsizing by some operators. In your view, how would you describe what happened?
Thank you. The operators sometimes, rather than engage...
Let me just rephrase that question. As a sector that employs more people, initially when we had newcomers, there were kind of influx of employees into those companies. But this year, it seems that was not the case.
Well, this year and some few years back, a number of operators have now been engaging in this new practice, well, not too new, of outsourcing.
Okay.
They now outsource some of their services, some of their departments. For instance, the customer care, again, that bothers me. The customer care personnel or staff are usually outsourced. And some of the time, they don't feel a sense of belonging to the company. It is the company that has outsourced them. They don't really carry the image of the telecom operator properly and very well. It's sometimes not tidy, when, the way they attend to you sometimes is not that good. And again, by the time you look at some of their, the attendants or the customer care attendants, the way they sometimes talk to you, because we have a lot of complaints, and all they want is, because I think they do have some number, that they have to make every day. So they sometimes rush you and, cut you sometimes. And some of these things are not, but if they are really staff, bona fide staff of the particular network, I'm sure that won't be there. It is this outsourcing, although it's a new practice, but outsourcing sometimes some of the departments is not helping matters at all.
It affected the condition of work of some of the staff
They save
negatively?
Money. Yes, it saves, to the operators, they want to save more money, make more profit. Outsourcing means you want to, save more money for your company. And there you are, it is not really helping matters. It is compounding the situation, and so subscribers are complaining that some of them are not up to the task. Very, very few are good. And sometimes when you even, complain to them, they send you some text that they are attending to it. Unfortunately, by the time they tell you it's 48 hours, 3 months, they've not really attended to it. And if they are the real staff of the company, that won't happen. They have given them some targets. They must make so much customer care calls, or they must treat so of calls. And with the targets, they have to, make. And in trying to make it, the attendance to some subscribers is found wanting.